Hello, welcome back to the channel. Now today, where am I heading? This is another e-trip and this one is really special. It's one of my favourite places in the north of England. We're heading into York, the historic medieval city of York. It's kind of like the Salem of England, if you like. Now this time of year, October, is especially eerie and special, and it's great to go to the city and see what's on offer for this time of year because the whole place is vibrant and comes alive. Today we're going to record and report on the 45 ghosts that have appeared in the city. Now there's a map and there's a route that you can follow, and you can go and have a look at these translucent wire mesh ghosts that are just placed all around this special city. And we're going to go and hit up some of them today. I'm going to tell you a story about a few of them. I've got a really special ghost story to tell when we get there. So let's go. Let's get this e-trip on the go. This is episode 17 and it's fitting that it's the start of the spooky season and we're heading into the Salem of England, York. So hello everybody and welcome to a very special episode. Today I'm in the heart of York, a city known for its rich history, charming streets and of course its many ghost stories. But today we're not just here to explore York's haunted past, we're here to take a look at something truly unique. York Bid has commissioned Unconventional Design to create these amazing wire mesh ghost sculptures which are scattered around the city for an autumn installation. We'll be checking out these artistic creations and I'll even share one of York's famous ghost stories as we wander. So without further ado, let's get started. I just love this city, it's so good.
The city comes alive. Ghostly tales in the northern air, Roman roads, the past is there. Vikings came and judges stayed. Through the walls their spirits played. The light fantastic serendipity. A city filled with mystery. The city comes alive.
Today I'm going to be taking you on a truly unique tour through the streets and gardens here in York, where history, art and a touch of the supernatural come together. York Bid has once again teamed up with a local design agency called Unconventional Design to bring the city to life, or should I say to bring its ghosts to life. This year they've created 45 incredible translucent 3D ghost sculptures, all made from narrow gauge wire mesh. Now these sculptures aren't just random decorations, they're inspired by York's rich and often spooky history. A way of reminding us of the spirits that still linger here, from the Roman legions to medieval knights and beyond. The purpose behind these wire mesh ghosts is to celebrate York's centuries-old heritage in a modern, artistic way. The sculptures blend seamlessly into their surroundings, as if these ethereal figures are walking the same streets and gardens they once knew. You'll find them in some of the city's most stunning green spaces, like the Museum Gardens, Dean's Park and along the city walls. There's even a ghost near Clifford's Tower, silently watching over the city. Today I'm going to show you some of these incredible works of art and the stories behind some of them. So join me as we explore the city and uncover the magical and ghostly figures that make York such a hauntingly beautiful place. Now, Whip My Wap My Gate is one of the smaller streets here in York, and it's got a quirky name that has intrigued many people over the centuries. The name, it dates back to at least the 16th century and is believed to be a corruption of a phrase meaning neither one thing nor the other, possibly referring to its small size or its awkward location at a junction between several streets. Historically, it served as a site of punishment in medieval York, where a whipping post once stood. Now, some local traditions suggest the unusual name might be linked to this practice. But today it's a well-known tourist curiosity, adding a bit of charm and character to York's rich historical tapestry. So there's 45 ghosts scattered around the city, and I'm here today and I'm going to try and find as many as reasonably possible. I don't think I'm going to get around all 45, but we've started at Clifford's Tower, an 11th century tower. Now on the very top, you can blink and you'll miss this one. You've got to look up. Remember what I've always said about looking up in life. You look up, you'll see the first of our ghosts on today's ghostly tour around the city of York. This one is the Archer, protecting the city from invasion, obviously. Now you can see this archer firing his arrows from the battlements of Clifford's Tower, which, as I've just said, dates back to the 11th century when it was built by none other than William the Conqueror. So at the day of recording this, it's Sunday, the 6th of October. As I said, it's the start of the spooky season, obviously. It's quite a busy day here in the city. This is the famous Jorvik Viking Centre. We're not going to go in there today, but that is a really popular tourist attraction in the city. But I am going to tell you a story of a Viking in a little while when we get to the Viking ghost. Definite Harry Potter nod here, broomsticks and ghosts hanging in Coppergate. There's the famous England's most haunted inn, the Golden Fleece. I would like to come and do an episode there, a full episode dedicated to the stories of the ghosts inside that hostelry. Now you can tell it's October because this is probably the most popular shop in York, the York Ghost Merchants. And this is the queue waiting to go into the shop. It's always long, but it's particularly long in October. The ghost of the butcher hanging out of above the window from the shop that must not be named. So here we are at the next stop, and did you look at that incredible piece? Now this is one of those several wire mesh ghosts created by that talented team at Unconventional Design. They've captured the ethereal, ghostly feel perfectly. The transparency of the mesh makes the figure seem like it's fading in and out of reality, much like the legends of the spirits here in York. Now this ghost is a butcher emptying his slop bucket directly into the Shambles, referencing its past as a street of butcher's shops and houses. Some of the shop fronts still have the original butcher's meat hooks in place. Thank you very much. Ginger beer, I love ginger beer.
Lovely camera.
You like it? It's a 16 Pro, this one. I've seen some videos on, you know, these ghosts that have appeared around the city. I'm just doing, yeah.
Oh, have you seen the one out by the Minster? Around the
No, I'm going up.
in one of the gardens.
Is there?
Quite special.
Yes, please. There's one in the Shambles just above one of the shops looking over. There's a butcher, yeah.
Oh, of course, Butcher Street.
Yeah, emptying his slop bucket. Oh, do I have to pay? Of course.
I wish I could give it you for
I know.
free.
I have to pay. What's that all about?
Lovely stuff.
Park your room. This is definitely on my to-do list. The Hocus Pocus Tiny Hotel. If you have a look at this on Google, it's just a small boutique hotel, but it wins multiple awards, and I do definitely want to come and stay here. As I wander around here, I can't get over how mild it is. Considering we're in October now. And here I am, wandering around the streets of York in nothing but a t-shirt. It is quite mild for this time of year. And the one thing you'll pick up about me on these e-trip videos is I do like to wear a t-shirt and shorts. Now, what I love about this installation is how each wire ghost blends seamlessly with York's historic architecture. These ghosts feel like they belong here, haunting the streets as if they've been doing so for centuries. Unconventional Design has done an amazing job making the ghosts both otherworldly and part of the fabric of the city. Now we're turning back the clock to the year 866, when Danish Vikings stormed the city of York and forever changed its name and its destination. Now York, or Eerie as it was known at the time, was an important and wealthy city in the Anglo-Saxon kingdom of Northumbria, believe it or not. But that all changed when the fearsome Viking Great Heathen Army landed on English shores. The Vikings had been raiding the British Isles for decades, but in 866 they launched a full-scale invasion led by the infamous Ragnar Lothbrok's sons, Ivar the Boneless and Halfdan Ragnarsson. The Danish Vikings set their sights on York, one of the most prosperous cities here in northern England. And on November the 1st, 866, during the Christian festival of All Saints' Day, the Vikings made their move. The Northumbrians were completely caught off guard. Within a day, the city was under complete Viking control. York, now renamed Jorvik, became the capital of the Vikings' new North Sea Empire. Jorvik quickly grew into a thriving hub for trade and craftsmanship under Viking rule. The Danish settlers brought their own culture, language and customs, leaving a lasting mark on the city. They traded far and wide from Scandinavia to the Mediterranean, turning Jorvik into one of the most important cities in Viking England. Now, many of York's streets still today carry names from the Viking era, like Coppergate, where we've parked today, which means Street of the Cupmakers. You can feel the presence of Jorvik just beneath the surface of modern York. Now, Jorvik remained under Viking control for almost 100 years, until the English king Æthelstan finally reclaimed it in 927. But the impact of the Danish Vikings on the city remains visible to this day. York may have been born Anglo-Saxon, but it was shaped by the Vikings. The Danish invaders left an indelible mark on its history, and even now you can walk the streets they once ruled. Here's another ghost. Now this one seems to be caught in a moment of contemplation or sorrow, maybe reflecting on the past, much like many of York's legendary spirits. What's great is how each ghost tells its own story, and yet they're all tied to the city's long, eerie history. Now here we are outside the grand but ominous Judges' Lodging. Now for over a century and a half, this building was home to the judges who came to dispense justice. But not all who entered these walls left unscathed by its dark secrets. The Judges' Lodging, built in the early 18th century, became the official residence for judges presiding over the York Assizes in 1806. For 170 years, this was where men of law lived and slept as they delivered sentences, some of them sealing the fates of the condemned. But while the judges upheld law and order by day, it's said that night brought a different kind of trial. The building's heavy silence was often broken by strange sounds, whispers from the past and even ghostly figures. Many judges claimed they felt an unseen presence watching them. Now imagine this. By day, you're sentencing criminals to hang at the gallows on the infamous Knavesmire. But by night, in this very house, footsteps echo where no one walks. doors creak open on their own and cold spots freeze you in place. It's said that some of the judges themselves felt they were being judged by the spirits of the very men they'd condemned. Now, one of the most famous stories comes from the mid-19th century when a judge reportedly fled the house in the dead of night, claiming a shadowy figure had entered his room and stood silently at the foot of his bed. Many believe that the souls of those executed on the nearby Knavesmire haunt this place, seeking revenge on the judges who sent them to their doom. Now, others say the building itself has its own dark past, something much older, much deeper. The last judge stayed here in 1976, marking the end of its use as an official residence. But the spirits, some say they never left. Even today, visitors and staff report strange occurrences, lights flickering, voices in empty rooms, and the feeling of being watched. So the next time you're in York, take a walk past the judge's lodging. Maybe you'll catch a glimpse of a long dead judge or hear the faint whispers of those condemned. But be warned, once you step inside, it's hard to shake the feeling that you're not alone. So today's adventure is almost at its conclusion. However, I've saved the best for last. I did say at the start of this e-trip that I was going to tell you a chilling, haunted ghost story, one of the most famous ghost stories here from the city of York. And we've come to the Treasurer's House, the location of this story. So this story has brought us here to one of York's most haunted locations, the Treasurer's House. It's actually closed now because it's Sunday, but right behind me here, it's located right behind the majestic York Minster. Now, in the 1950s, a plumber named Harry Martindale was working in the cellars of the house when something completely unexpected happened. As Harry tells it, he suddenly heard the distant sound of a horn, a military trumpet echoing through the stone walls. Now, at first he thought it was his imagination, but then he saw something that would leave a lasting impression. Emerging through the stone wall of the cellar came the figure of a Roman soldier. But this wasn't a modern actor in a costume, this was a ghostly vision. And then behind the soldier came an entire troop of Roman soldiers, walking through the cellar in formation. Now, the strange thing was, the soldiers appeared to be cut off at the knees, as if they were marching along a road that was much lower than the current floor level of the cellar. Now, it turns out, after historians examined the site, that the Roman road would have been buried deeper under the cellar, meaning that Harry had seen these soldiers walking along a road that had long since disappeared beneath York. Now, this sighting is one of the most famous ghost stories in York, and many believe Harry saw the spirits of Roman legionnaires who once patrolled the city when it was called Eboracum. To this day, visitors to the Treasurer's House still report strange sightings and feelings of unease in that very cellar. And just like the ghostly Roman soldiers, these wire mesh ghosts have reminded us that York's past is always just beneath the surface, or in some cases right in front of us, like these stunning sculptures. Now, as we wrap up our tour of York's wire mesh ghosts, I hope these sculptures have inspired you to see the city in a new light. They blend the old with the new, the physical with the spiritual, and remind us just how connected York is to its past and its ghosts. Whether it's the Roman soldiers at the Treasurer's House or the countless other spirits said to haunt these very streets, York is a city where history and hauntings are never far apart. Well, we've almost reached the end of today's ghostly adventure around this stunning city, York. Now, as you can imagine, with 45 wire mesh ghosts scattered across this beautiful city, it wasn't possible to visit them all. But that just means there are plenty more for you to discover on your own. Now, I hope you did enjoy the stories of the ones that I did cover. Don't worry, I'm going to end the episode here with several more that I did manage to track down during my visit. So let's take a final look at some of these incredible sculptures in the York Museum Gardens.
Welcome to the ghostly city where spirits roam, where echoes of laughter still call it home. Under the starlit sky we won't stand still. In this vibrant silence we can feel the thrill. Lost souls dancing in a spectral ball. The city's alive though the silence calls. Phantom lovers sway in the midnight air. Glimmers of hope in a world of despair. Feel the rhythm of the night arise. Welcome to the ghostly city where spirits roam, where echoes of laughter still call it home. Under the starlit sky we won't stand still. In this vibrant silence we can feel the thrill. We can feel the thrill. Oh. Lost souls dancing in a spectral ball. The city's alive though the silence calls. Phantom lovers sway in the midnight air. Glimmers of hope in a world of despair. Feel the rhythm of the night rise.
So as the rain starts to come down a little bit here now, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me on this journey through York's ghostly artwork and its haunted history. Now if you enjoyed this video and seeing these wire mesh ghosts, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future e-trips. And if you're ever in York, make sure to keep your eyes open. You never know what ghostly figures might be watching from the shadows. Until next time, stay curious, stay spooky, and I'll see you in the next video. Oh, one more thing. Keep wandering and keep wondering.
The fairy comes alive. Ghostly tales in the northern air. Roman roads, the past is there. Vikings came and judges stayed. Through the walls their spirits played. The light fantastic serendipity. A city filled with mystery. The city comes alive. Oh, oh, with supernatural winds that blow from history's heart to stars above. The city's magic is what we love. We'll dance through fantasy tonight. The city comes alive. Through ancient gates, the past is strong, where magic weaves and time belongs. A city small, but rich in tales of Romans, Vikings, judges, veils. The light fantastic, come with me, where history meets fantasy. The city comes alive, oh, oh, with supernatural winds that blow from history's heart to stars above. The city's magic is what we love. We'll dance through fantasy tonight. The city comes alive. Oh, can you feel the vibe? The city comes alive. The city comes alive. The city comes alive. Oh, oh, with supernatural winds that blow from history's heart to stars above. The city's magic is what we love. We'll dance through fantasy tonight. The city comes alive. Oh, feel the vibe. The city comes alive. Oh, the city comes alive. Oh, oh.
was called Eboracum. I'll redo this. When it was called Eboracum. To this day, visitors to the treasurer's house still report strange sightings, feelings of. I've came through the Shambles once, couldn't find this butcher, so I'm going through again, determined to find him. I've came through once and I couldn't see the ghost of the butcher, I'm determined to find it. There's the hotel, look. Don't you? I love the name of that bar. Me dum dum, you dum dum.